Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today, update number 4 of the Crucible League and still on the Cyclone Shockwave Slayer. And honestly, nothing too much has happened. Yesterday, I was just like farming for like 8 or 9 hours and trying to improve my character. And we did some upgrades to it, but nothing too fancy. One would be a Strangle Gasp Onyx Amulet from, I think it drops in Blight. I got another, like, just life resistance 6 thing, I think it was like 60 chaos or something. And I crafted a weapon, the Eventuality Rod, and farmed the Crucible mechanic to get the knockback direction is reversed with Cyclone and Sweep. So now we're having this reverse Cyclone effect. Is it any good? You don't really feel it too much, okay? But the thing is, knockbacks is generally very annoying for Cyclone or for any kind of melee character. So the reverse Cyclone, even though it doesn't really feel like it, you know, like you're not like this vacuum where you just like cyclone through the map and everything gets like soaked in. You actually need to hit the monster because instead of a knockback, they get like pulled towards you, right? But the thing is, knockback is very, very annoying, and just to counteract so we're not knockbacking the enemies is just a huge plus in my books, and that's why I also picked up here the Blunt Trauma Node, which is increased critical strike and crit multi with staves, as well as knockbacks enemy if you get a critical strike with a staff, right? On top of that, with the Lion's Roar unique flask, we also add this knockback effect. So overall, it just feels like a lot better, especially once I upgrade my map. I would say we're just gonna pop in like any map, doesn't really matter too much. Just run this like beach map, sorry. And yeah, overall, I would say having a bit of a mixed feelings about it, right? So once I upgrade my weapon and the amulet, basically my DPS went up quite a bit, but there is still a lot of like mechanics in the game that are just so rough, you know. And we are talking about like essence monsters, we're talking about the Crucible mechanics, since I did farm quite some Crucibles to get all the skill tree up on this weapon with the reverse Cyclone here, right? And I'm gonna say, like, it feels so weird that everything that is in the map doesn't matter, magic monster, rare monster, whatever, it doesn't really matter, okay? The map boss dies like within 2 or 3 seconds based on the mods, but then you have like an essence monster with like just 3 essences, nothing too crazy, and it is like 2 or 3 times more tanky than the map boss itself. And honestly, I don't even open essences anymore if they have like 5 essences or something, because I know that killing this essence will take like a minute. And the chance of me dying while trying to kill the essence monster is very high on top of that. They have like this weird contrast where you see like, yo, I can easily farm tier 16 maps and whatever league mechanic pops up, it's super fine. But essences, Crucible, like all these kind of like heavy, you know, I really get some arch nemesis, what to say, memories on top of that, right? But we're still like the same with the Cyclone and Shockwave. We're having like Blood Rage, permanent active, and I think that's the wrong loot filter. Give me a second. There we go. And yeah, we're having a pretty good uptime on Rage, but you definitely feel Rage, like Berserk, I mean. So if you start hitting like a wet noodle, that's usually because your Berserk fell off. And this is like, you know, you gotta invest a bit more into regen and those kind of things to actually have a very high uptime on this Berserk. The movement speed is pretty good. We're having like this permanent onslaught from my ring. And I actually tried out some shenanigans with the new Tainted Pact amulet where it says chaos damage heals you. So I bought a Divine Flesh Jewel. I bought the, what is it, like the boots? The, I think it's like an Uber drop. Annihilation's Approach or something. The boots that give you like 10,000 fire damage per second degen, but therefore you get like permanent adrenaline, right? So I tried to use Divine Flesh to actually convert this like 10,000 fire damage into half chaos and half fire damage. And since it is a degen, my goal was to basically leech or basically have this like 5k chaos dot turned into heal and use that to sustain my rage, because hey, if you're ticking for like 5k with negative chaos resistance, it's probably gonna be like 7,000 or 8,000 life per second, and you're getting like super tanky with that one, right? But it sadly doesn't work like that, because I mean, you can sustain it because of the heal. So the 10,000 fire damage or 5,000 fire damage that you get at the end, you don't feel them because the chaos damage is healing you for a lot more than you actually degen, right? And obviously the 5k fire damage will also be mitigated by your fire resistance, so it's not that bad, right? But it still heals you, so this like healing name, I thought, or I was hoping it to be regen, because that would mean that my Cane Spirit Gloves will take that regen and give me like, I don't know, 60-70 rage per second, right? And that would have been super crazy, but it doesn't work that way, sadly, so I skipped that plan, like putting in this like weird shenanigans. So, let's talk about these like upgrades that I made. First of all, the Strangle Gasp amulet, which is basically, let me quickly put it up, Strangle Gasp. So they're usually going for like 3 divines apiece, as you see it over here. It's like 2, 9, 2, 9, and like 3 divines apiece basically. And what you try to do with that thing is you anoint it 4 times. This is like the special affix of the amulet, that it can have 3 additional anoints. And then you basically want to Val it to brick it. Okay, you want to make this a rare amulet, because this amulet doesn't have any modifiers besides the all attributes, which with that means that if it bricks, and even if it only comes with like 10 life and 3 fire resistance, it would still be better than this one. And that's exactly how I got mine. So there was a guy that did exactly that. It was anointing the amulet and then tried to brick it. It didn't work, so he sold it. And he sold that one for 2 divines. That's what I picked it up for. It does have Whispers of Doom, and I don't have an additional curse, but just based on the currency investment. So I bought it for 2 divines, while the base price is 3 divines, plus the cost of actually getting the anointments up. And something like Whispers of Doom, I think, is triple golden oil. So you have to count in that cost as well. So I would assume that this amulet was like about like a 4 divines or 5 divines in the making. And I got it for 2 divines, even though I cannot use Whispers of Doom, but it's still like a good upgrade compared to my old, like, what is it, life resistance, life regen amulet that I had before. Then, based on the chest, I did run a 5-link chest and a 6-link staff. That was my old staff. But since I tried to craft this like eventuality rod over here that I bought and crafted myself, I needed a 6-link, so I decided to just go PoE trade 6-link with the right colors, can be corrupted, can be non-corrupted, get like a good amount of life and resistance, and that's pretty much it, you know. And so I can actually have an unlinked staff, so I don't have to invest more currency into that. I think I paid like 70 chaos for this one, and I think it's like a pretty nice like life resistance pick with a 6-link, right? Coming to the weapon, so I bought an eventuality rod, which is the highest DPS staff in the game, I think, and it also comes with 1 max power and maximum endurance charge, and we are sustaining the endurance charges thanks to our smashing strikes, where it says like 10% chance to get an endurance charge on melee critical strike, and we're running a crit build, so we have like this sustain as long as we're hitting something, right? The blue socket here would be the Enlighten support, and that's why all my auras are in here, and it's not a linked staff because I don't have an Enlighten, so it doesn't really matter if it's linked or not, right? But still, I do have Pride, I do have like Blood and Sand that are currently not active because of the mana sustain overall. So what I did is basically buying this staff, unlock the Crucible tree, and then buying reverse Cyclone weapons, and using these like new, what is it, the Primeval Remnants, that say like contains a furnace that removes a Crucible passive tree from a non-unique item. That would mean I could remove that one and unveil it again, hoping for the reverse Cyclone. And if this didn't work, I was using the, because every forge can like merge the trees, right? So there is one for like adding a tree for unique items, there is one for removing the tree on a unique item, one for removing a tree on a non-unique item, and so on and so forth. And basically buying reverse knockback staves because it has to be the same weapon class, and then merging it with my eventuality rod, and at some point I actually was able to get this reverse cyclone effect onto my eventuality rod, and then I started to grind it up. It's not like any crazy. We have like here wither effect, chaos damage, completely useless. This one is kind of interesting. It has 1.5% base crit, but therefore 15% reduced attack speed. And since we're a crit build and we rely on crit to sustain endurance charges, to gain maybe flask charges, to do like those kind of things, honestly I think this base crit value is higher than the attack speed, and usually you would go for a chest with base crit, but maybe this skill point here would be the reason to not really go for it, because you get the base crit on your weapon, right? And if I mouse over the weapon, we're currently having 10.79% base crit on it, right? Then here we have Overwhelm, 24% physical damage reduction, power charge on kill, and reduced duration, and the reverse cyclone. So it's like an okay weapon, and it currently has, I think, 500 or 600 DPS. So it was basically a 100 DPS upgrade or 80 DPS upgrade from my previous staff, and with a higher base crit chance and everything, I think it's like pretty decent, and you definitely felt the damage difference when it comes to like just the overall mapping, right? I think the weapon was like a 30% more damage, and the amulet was also like a 30% increased or more damage overall. The next step, I really need a new pair of boots. They're still like from day 1 or so from league start. This ring is still utterly garbage, but I don't really have the mana sustain, so I cannot cyclone if I don't use that ring, right? So one thing that I was thinking about was maybe we just get this like channeling skills have minus mana cost, and then take like one of these life masteries that says skill cost life instead of 30% mana cost. What that does, if you have like a skill that it costs 10 mana, right, then it costs 7 mana and 3 life. So we are getting this cost down a little bit. So if I say, hey, if I take Cyclone and craft on my rare ring basically -3 mana cost of skills, and use this one, we maybe get it down to like 3 mana cost or something, and this might be able to sustain with the overall mapping, because this ring is just utterly garbage, but it makes my Cyclone for free. Another thing that you could do is just getting a chest that says like socketed gems have -15 mana cost, and put your Cyclone in there, and you're good to go. But I didn't really bother trying to get this because it works the way it is right now. Okay, anything else skill tree wise? I don't think anything has changed at all. We're still not running any cluster jewels, no Watcher's Eye, no whatsoever. But I think cluster jewels would be the next thing, because there is a cluster jewel note that says hits with staves or something, or crits with staves are granting Fortify. Once I would have that, I could unspec those 5 points and take more life notes. And other things, maybe trying to get like better optimization on my attributes to remove those like 30 intelligence nodes. I'm also lacking dexterity because of blood rage and everything, so I kept it low level, so I don't have to go that heavily into dex stacking in that case, trying to fix the attributes. But as I said, anything, maybe like a rare ring with like some attributes or something would go a long way with trying to accumulate that. Yeah, just Tainted Pact is like the amulet that I talked about before. So, what else? Yeah, so, I did do, like, all the Guardians, Conquerors, Elder Guardians, and so on. So I'm pretty much, like, farming them every time I drop one of these maps. Then I just run them, pick up a bunch of, like, fragments, and then just sell them and make currency out of that, which is pretty good. But then I dropped the Divine, and I thought about I do Maven, or I want to do Maven, because I kind of think about running Waste Pool, because they added the Doctor card into the pool of Waste Pool, and, you know, Toxic Sewer or Waste Pool are like insanely cool maps for Cyclone, and having the chance of getting a Doctor card might be pretty cool for farming that. But the problem was, with only 3 Void Stones in, or sorry, only 2 Void Stones in, this map is basically a tier 13 map. And we really want to go T14 plus because of the chances of dropping Conqueror maps, Shaper and Elder maps, as well as like Cortex, or at least like synthesized maps. This works on tier 11, but you definitely want to farm at T14 plus. So killing the Maven or Uber Elder to get like a 3rd Void Stone was like very high on the priority list to get this Waste Pool to a higher level, so we can actually farm that and generate those Conqueror maps to sell them for currency, right? And as I said, I bought a Maven based on the Divine drop that I had, but I wasn't able to do her. Like, honestly, I think it was phase 2 or something. I already downed like 2 portals, and I said like, this is actually brutal. My damage is just not there to kill any endgame bosses just yet. So I asked somebody from chat if he can like carry me the Maven, which I felt like pretty, I would say, pretty awkward, honestly, about it, just because I really wanted to do it myself, but I wasn't able to. But I still paid 1 Divine for the Maven's Writ, so I didn't want to lose that Divine either, right? And that's why I asked a friend of mine if he can come over, kill the Maven. I got the Void Stone, and that's pretty much it. Not feeling happy about it, but it was still like the better choice, because as I said, I wanted to have the Void Stone to get my waste pull to a higher map level, basically, right? But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's update. New weapon, new amulet, and new chest. And that's it. We're just like farming, and then trying to upgrade the character further so it is able to actually do all this kind of stuff that I want to do. I just feel like a bit sad about like this Crucible power spike, and the essences are kind of crazy, and I'm really thinking about unspecking essences because of it. Because you're spec into essence and you skip the essence with like 5 modifiers because they're so hard, and why you even spec into essence, right? Take anything else that might be interesting. But yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.